Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to Dark Corners Live.
As per the usual, someone let us know if we sound okay.
And if you're new to our live stream, there's now like a question box.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
We're going to see if that works, if that expedites us answering questions, because in past live streams, it's been very hard for us to keep up with the questions. So maybe this will help. Maybe everyone will just put comments in the question box, so it'll become meaningless. I don't know.
Yes.
We will find out.
Well, and of course, what we just said right now might have been meaningless because we don't know if anyone can even hear us.
No, that's true.
That's the mystery.
Please let us know if you can hear us, and then we'll start talking about films.
Yes. Otherwise, what else can we talk about while we're waiting?
I think that the green behind us is working as a color scheme.
Oh, very nice. I can hear. Definitely, I can hear you.
Great, thank you.
Good, well done.
Excellent.
Mission accomplished.
We're getting better. At some point, we can stop doing that, I think.
But the day we stop doing
it,
we will be talking into the void.
True. Should we look at some questions?
Yes. So nowadays there is a question box at the top, so you can pop your questions in there, and I might flip back to the other chats at other points. Okay.
If we run out of questions.
Yes. Okay. Your first question of this evening: classic Universal monsters or Hammer horror?
I mean, it's just too big a question. I think individual films, I'd probably go for Universal, but as a body of work, I'd probably go for Hammer.
Okay. There's a much larger body of work.
Yeah, I think Hammer is more consistently fun across their lifetime.
And reinvents itself perhaps a bit more.
Yes.
Yeah, I go with that.
But I don't think Hammer has much to equal Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Black Cat, Invisible Man. I think Universal's got more solid classics.
Yes. Okay. Out of all the classic Universal monster films, what would you say your top three?
Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man,
and some other James Whale one.
I'm trying to decide between Frankenstein and the Black Cat.
Right.
So that would be a top four, I suppose.
Very good. Why particularly do those resonate with you? It's a follow-up question.
Those are the best films. I guess based on that, it would seem that something about James Whale's films resonates with me more. I think that those films are the ones that make you laugh, that make you cry, that they have some of the greatest characters in them.
Yeah, he balances the genre as well, so it's not all-out horror, but it's also got like a nice level of comedy. And I guess it's also about theatricalness to his...
Yeah, I think maybe it is a British sensibility that James Whale brings to them. And you know, he never felt like he was making horror. He was just making drama that happened to have horror in it.
I suppose that thing of you need moments of light in order to sort of appreciate the horror kind of thing. So you've got, if it's just horror all the time, it can get boring. So having that light and dark helps a lot.
And the comedy in The Invisible Man in particular is so well balanced, and it's very much a part of the horror because he's gleefully enjoying the terrible things that he's doing, and we feel a little guilty for enjoying them too.
Would you do a special on twins, evil twins?
I mean, we might maybe a top 10, I suppose. I wouldn't rule that out.
Do you have a favorite evil twin movie?
Well, obviously the Neil Breen one.
Twins of Evil, is that? No, that's
no. That might be. Now you've said that, that might be my favorite.
Have you seen the Margot Kidder one?
No.
Oh, can't remember the name of it, but yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Okay. Right. We didn't know the answer to this, but there's apparently a horror film. The premise is some people are in a mansion. They watch a movie. The killer comes out of the movie. They destroy the movie, and that kills the killer. We don't know what film that is, but if you do,
any takers,
stick it in the comments.
Please.
Just to let you all know, the science advisor is in the house.
Hey.
If you are a Patreon member, you can use your science advisor emoticon to greet him hello. So, yes. Are you familiar with book Horror by Drake Douglas?
No.
No. Sorry.
Sometimes the questions are quick to answer.
Have you ever watched any of Sergio Cabucci's spaghetti westerns?
Yes, but I'm struggling to remember off the top of my head. If someone gave me some options, I might be able to remember what. I know I've seen one of his. I'm not tremendously familiar.
Okay. Why do so people aren't putting questions in the question answer thing?
Use
so
the question and
I'm just
answer
going to have
box.
to keep flicking back and forth. But there's a tab for questions that I'll be going back to every now and again.
Don't be resistant to change,
Yes.
people.
Embrace the change. Why do we think Time Guardian review has suddenly performed so well?
We really don't know. I guess Carrie Fisher has some clout. We were suggesting maybe because it's a Carrie Fisher film that nobody seems to have seen or heard of.
Yeah.
So that's often a useful niche for us, is stuff that nobody's heard of, but which for some reason they think they should have or want to have.
Yeah. I think it's also just the way that YouTube works, that if it can break through into the algorithm, it gets shared more and then it organically grows as a result of that.
Yeah.
So I think it's not necessarily that it's done wildly better. It's like it did a little bit better, and that's enough to push it to a wider audience.
Yeah.
And then does wildly better.
It has done. Yeah, I was going to say it has done wildly better, but there was a point where it was doing really, really good views.
Yes.
And then suddenly it started doing like
Phenomenal.
5 times really good views.
Yeah, I mean, we were comparing it to the other weekly reviews we've done. It is already our 3rd best review that we've
ever
done. Yes,
in terms of total views. So stuff that's had 15 years worth.
Yeah,
it's overtaken everything.
Yeah, in just over a week.
It had almost no knock-on effect whatsoever.
No.
And now we're back to normal. But, you know, made some money. It got us a lot of new subscribers, which is great. If you're a new subscriber, if you subscribed based on Time Guardian, then let us know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What took you so long?
Yeah, we're now, that 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year is starting to look like a possibility.
Yeah, we were saying at the start of the year, we were 12,000 subscribers shy. So we thought, okay, if we do 1,000 a month, we'll get there. And we really weren't doing 1,000 a month. But Time Guardian has made up a 2,000 subscriber deficit. We're back on target. So still just need 1,000 a month.
Yeah. Okay. Question box won't work on my phone. Oh, so that might be an issue.
That's YouTube's fault.
Will you be doing Santo v the Vampire Woman? Maybe in the next match.
We were just saying we were looking for a Santo film to do. So if that's in our box set, I'm not sure it is.
Yeah. If it's in the box set, then yes. If it's not, then no.
Yeah. Otherwise, we got to do one for the box set. We bought the damn thing.
Yeah.
And the dubbing's amazing.
Would you say he was a whale of a filmmaker?
No, I won't say that.
Best British horror movie.
Oh, you see, when you put on the spot like that, then it is really hard. I mean, there's obviously great Hammer ones. I suppose The Wicker Man.
Oh yeah.
Would anyone argue with The Wicker Man?
Yeah. Anna de Armas or Scarlett Johansson?
Anna de Armas.
Dead Ringers.
I don't even know in what context.
Somebody said Dead Ringers. I presume that might be the movie
twins.
that's. Oh, not
Twins
the movie
films.
that we're trying to figure out.
No.
Yeah.
The Twins films.
Okay.
Either that or the fact, or the Radio 4 comedy show.
British Horror Sensibilities, 90 minutes of filler with as many topless scenes as you can fit before you get the porn rating attached to your film. Even the Hammer TV series is booby filled.
I think there's an awful lot of films that disprove that.
Yeah.
Innocence. What's the anthology one? Dead of Night.
Mm-hmm.
Early Hammer.
Yeah. Una O'Connor in The Invisible Man is a hoot.
Yes.
Okay. I'm popping back to the Q&A for people who obeyed the rules. We got some.
It should tell us when the Q&A is filling up.
Have you seen the trailer for A Breed Apart? I have not. I'm
I
not
haven't
aware
either.
of this.
Sorry. I try not to watch too many trailers. I don't want to prejudice myself.
Any secret plans for the 100,000 special?
No.
If we told you, they wouldn't be secret.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
big
plans.
big plans.
It's going to be amazing. Get us there.
We're not that optimistic yet to make the plan. Maybe as we get closer.
Yeah. You know, it's tempting fate to make the plans ahead of time.
How often do you like to go to the cinema theatre?
How often do I like to go? Once a fortnight, and I am able to do that. If I get there once a month, that's pretty good at the moment.
I go at least once a week, often more times, sometimes in the same day. If I go, all right, I'm going like Friday, I'm going to go and see 2 films. What am I seeing? Thunderbolts and some other film.
Other film.
It's one that's in Cantonese, so I can't remember the title of it. But some sort of thriller thing. And then I saw Warfare yesterday.
I'd sort of rather stay at home and watch old movies that I haven't seen.
Yeah. No, I have like the Cineworld Unlimited thing. So if I don't watch like 8 films a week, I feel that I'm not getting my money's worth. So I'll go watch anything.
I just don't seem to have the time. I work from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m.
I mean, I should be doing that.
I am.
What's the most disturbing thing you've seen in a horror movie that isn't part of the movie story, i.e. real deaths, creepy foreshadowing?
Real deaths?
Real deaths. Real animal deaths. I left out.
Oh, right.
I've got quite a big aversion to knives cutting through flesh.
Right.
When it's done well. That's actually, seeing the gore is fine, but actually like a knife going through flesh is like, especially Pet Sematary, when the kid like slices his ankle, the Achilles. That's one that just makes you go, ugh.
There's certain bits, certainly when we reviewed Revenge, then there's the bit with the guy digging the broken glass out of his foot, and anything like that is just
yeah.
That's probably not a great answer to your question, but that sort of stuff certainly sets teeth on edge.
Yeah, I think there's part of me that with real animal deaths in the film, I'm probably more likely just to pretend that it's not.
Right. Okay.
In order to get through that. Best Italian horror movie.
Boy, again, just these broad questions really do floor me. Give me a list of Italian horror movies. Well, I'm not. Black Sabbath. I liked that one.
Yep. Very good. Have you thrown your hat into the ring for a Bond role yet?
For a Bond role? I feel like I'm too old now for Bond.
What about a role in a Bond film then?
Oh, I would assume that they'd want me as Bond. No. They know where I am. They'll come find me.
How are you feeling about Bond switching to Amazon?
I mean, not great.
Oh, we've got a donation here. Oh, this is annoying. The donation should pop up wherever my browser is at.
We're really exposing some of the problems with their new Q&A service. I feel we can feed back to YouTube quite accurately.
I will be, because I've just joined the panel on live feeds.
Well, there you go.
So I will be feeding this back. And the $2 question is, Megaropolis review donation still on?
I'm afraid that the donations don't carry from one to the next, so we're starting from a ground level.
They do, because,
they don't.
Yes, they do, because last time it was like -10.
Right.
Because somebody donated to go against it or something.
So it's now -8 is what you say. No, I'll be generous. I'll say that $2 counts. So yeah, again, if you want us to review Megaropolis, then make a donation. Yeah. And if it reaches, what did we say? $100, then we will review Megaropolis. And likewise, last time there were people also bidding against. So feel free to do that as well. This can't possibly work two live streams in a row, can it?
I'm going to be generous and actually say maybe it's probably $12 we're at. It's not going to get there.
Well, why not just lower the? If you're going to just randomly say there was $10 in there, then just lower the target to 90. Otherwise, it becomes confusing.
Oh, my girlfriend's messaged me from Portugal. She's out there doing a Camino walk, so she's walked.
That's what he thinks.
Yeah, that's true. She could be anywhere. She's claiming then to have walked 35 kilometers 2 days in a row.
Wow.
So that's impressive.
And we're sat here drinking.
She's gonna have like calf muscles like that sexy lady gremlin by the end of this thing.
Weird analogy to go with.
What was we got here? Found your channel a few weeks ago. Watched a dozen reviews. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know you always
Lots more to go.
I know I always ask, but last month I asked about Night of the Hunter special. Any news on that?
I think as a standalone special, it's not out of the question. I think it's more likely something we do as a streaming review, but we're sort of booked up on specials at the moment.
Yes. So it's not it's around. Just keep shouting it at us. That will work unless
money works.
Megalopolis.
Money works.
In which case that requires money. About to say Wicker Man. W. There's a
blast from the past.
Blast from the past. It feels like, although he's
W.
He's always been a Patreon member this whole time, so he is a dedicated hard corner.
Yeah, I think of W as like a stalwart of the glory days when we were going, wow, this video got 100 views.
Yes,
we're there.
Much. Yeah, him and oh God, I forgot his name. Ben. Yeah, rivalries to become hard corner of the month, stuff like that. But got a question. The killer coming out of the film sounds like a 2000 Australian film cut.
Oh,
so if that was your question,
there's your answer.
Love the horror trivia book. What horror trivia book is that?
Horror trivia book.
There we go. Let's just go with it. What's the question? Oh, you can pick one.
Okay.
So
randomly selected questions.
500 questions, 50 categories, such as.
Okay, well, this is from the body horror genre. I think there's a good chance of people getting this one. I'm just going with the top one, which is, what is the subtitle of Tetsuo 2, sequel to Tetsuo the Iron Man?
Yeah.
Just make sure I do actually know this. I think I do, but I'd hate to give the wrong answer. There we go. There's only one error been found in this so far that I've never got round to correcting.
When I saw that question, I saw a bit of it, and it was like, "What's the sequel to Tetsu?" And Tetsu 2. It's an easy question. Anagrams are not my strong suits. Oh, wow.
Oh, there's a lot of anagrams in there because, frankly, they're easier to do than coming up with questions.
How was it sold?
It did really, really well in the run up to Christmas. Then it flatlined a little bit. It's still doing I think it probably sells about a copy a week.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that it will do well at Christmas again. Okay. So it'll just be a tick over.
If you want a signed copy, then message us.
Yes.
On one of the avenues.
Yeah.
And we will sign
you a copy.
Yes. You still have to pay for it, but
yes. Yeah.
And if you've already got a copy, we will send you out like a signed nameplate thing. You can just
we can do that.
So
same goes for all of my books as well, which are all here, and and so on.
I've been seeing mostly classic movies in the theatre of late. Yeah, I booked to see 28 Days Later.
Ah, right.
Should be good, but I do try to. I like seeing classic films when they're.
Yeah, well, I may as well do a plug now that I'm going to Forbidden Worlds Festival again this year. So if you're going, then please say hi. I'll be the one pimping the merchandise. And it's the chance to see some classic films on an enormous screen. So I think, who doesn't want to see Tremors on an IMAX screen? That's going to be extraordinary. And City of Lost Children. There's a seldom seen kaiju film called The Whale God that's really looking forward to. I know very little about it. Gail Ann Hurd is going to be there talking, producer of Terminator and Aliens and I think The Abyss as well. and who also is a Roger Corman alum. So it'll be really interesting to hear her speak. And she's introducing a Roger Corman film, Battle Beyond the Stars, which is again one you could see. Sybil Danning's Valkyrie on an IMAX screen. That's
there you go.
The largest cleavage that you will ever see.
That's cool that they're all like on an IMAX screen.
Yeah, I have to say, King Kong on an IMAX screen. That was when I went the first year. That was extraordinary because the sheer scale. It's the only time I've really been impressed by Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, which is not a good film, and the effects are terrible. But I feel, for my own reasons, I sat in like the front row of the IMAX, and suddenly it actually was almost 50 foot above you. And for the first time ever, that film was impressive. But yeah, so watch out for that. We'll have some videos about that coming out.
Oh yeah, we need to shoot a video about that tomorrow.
Yes, yes. Point. We've got time.
Yeah, it's more than just to remember.
Yeah, I'm not forgetting that.
Thoughts on Metropolis?
I love Metropolis. I've got a T-shirt with Metropolis on. I went to the British premiere of the sort of the restored cut at the BFI when that first came out. That again was exciting to see on a big screen, and I thought that the new footage really did improve it, particularly in the chase scene at the end. It was so much better structured. Anyway.
Someone says, I bet Megaropolis review will outperform Time Guardian if you include the Auntie Wow scene. I don't remember the Auntie Wow scene.
Well,
I remember to go back to the
club. Can I point out someone? I think there's a lot of good right answers for our question. I'm not sure who came in first, but Body Hammer is the correct answer.
Cool.
So, well done to everyone who said Body Hammer.
Not the Iron Lady or Drill Phallus.
Those are more descriptions.
What kind of scientist is the science advisor?
He's a research chemist.
There you go. Oh, so the review we just did, that was properly his area of expertise.
Yeah, I mean that discovery came after he had retired. He is a retired research chemist, but yeah, it still takes an interest in this stuff.
He did actually. The science advisor did chime in and answer that question himself.
PhD in chemistry. Yeah, I should have mentioned the doctor.
Yeah, well, we've never referred to him as doctor.
He is a doctor. I just remember when my teachers would meet him at school, then the science teachers always remembered to call him Dr. Bales, and other teachers just went with Mr. Bales, and it wasn't that, the scientists acknowledging that it meant something.
Speaking of the science advisor, you're not wearing it.
I'm not wearing. I'm not going to run upstairs.
Oh, it was in the thumbnail of this video.
Yes,
you can get the science advisor T-shirt and unrelated the Lucha Libre advisor T-shirt.
Yeah, the science advisor T-shirts have been selling very well.
I
find it very surreal that there are people all over the world wearing pictures of my dad.
I really want your dad just to bump into one of them in Tesco's or something
and just say no.
Yeah. God, can I have an autograph? No. How about the special on 1950s atomic horror? It's not an impossibility. We just got a big list of specials that we want to do. Speaking of which, so
we have a special coming up.
We do. So our next special is going to be the Reptile and Plague of the Zombies.
The Cornish horrors
from Hammer. So that's a good chunk of the way edited. So I think that's going to be out a week on Saturday.
Hold him to this.
Is the plan. I've got a fairly quiet week, so I think I can.
I'm going to be on the Isle of Wight.
I'm going to be in Spain.
Right, so maybe there won't be a live premiere for that one. Is what I was.
I'll make the time.
I can give 20 minutes. Helen's a Dark Corners fan. She'll be cool.
Oh, there you go. So that's that, and then we've decided the one after that is. We were shooting.
Tomorrow we are shooting a special about the pre-code Warner Brothers horrors. That's Dr. X and Mystery of the Wax Museum. So the first color feature-length color horrors, which is I always feel the need to say all of that because otherwise someone in the comments will pull me up on it because there
the Opera had color scenes in it,
and of course there are shorts which are color before that. So I always, but it feels so cumbersome to say, but nevertheless, so I'm just going to say the first color horrors, and you can pull me up if you like. And great films directed by Michael Curtiz, best known for Casablanca, but who has one of the most eclectic careers of any director.
Yeah, and probably killed a few people making Noah's Ark.
It's never been proved that he killed people, injured a lot of people, and himself. That was one of my favorite fact that I found out during that, is that he broke his own leg showing a stuntman how to take a fall. Pride really does come before a fall. Apparently he just, like this Mr. Stuntman, rolled down the stairs and screamed.
Should they remake London After Midnight? They already have. It's a movie called Mark of the Vampire, and it's not very good.
Should they remake it again? No, I think probably not.
I'd watch Sybil Danning. Should do a review of If I Were King, 1938. Do you know
Okay, I don't know.
Adventure comedy.
All right.
Isn't Severlin in The Reptile?
She is. She's in Plague of the Zombies as well. Jacqueline Pearce. She's got interesting roles in both. I think she doesn't have a very large role in Plague of the Zombies, but it's a really good performance. And I think there are some interesting things to say about it, which hopefully we do say.
Cool. Have we done a review of the Vordalek movie? No,
it's streaming somewhere. I was looking at it. It's streaming somewhere at the moment, because I thought that's a possibility for one we might do as a streaming review quite in the coming weeks or months.
Yeah. Okay. Kroll review seems ripe for a streaming review, which is interesting because that's one that's like on the cusp of could easily probably be a
bad movie review.
Yes. We covered it a little bit in thank you very much, Colleen.
Films that Star Wars ripped off Star Wars.
Yes, or sort of rode Star Wars coattails kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Kroll. It's a possibility. Do you want to check the Q&A?
Go back. Oh, we got another. Any chance a review of Edvard Munch?
1974. Oh, I don't know the film.
It's not an impossibility.
I mean, that sounds like is that a biopic?
I don't know. Let's have a look.
There it is. A biographical film about. I mean, I'll be honest. It's not generally what we do.
About miniseries. Maybe not. I don't know. But could be interesting.
I think it could be interesting. It looks like an interesting film. It's not. It doesn't look to be our wheelhouse. Yeah. But never say never.
Ever thought of doing a Dark Corners podcast? You can interview people who worked for Hammer or Corman. I'm starting to feel like a lot of the Hammer people are probably dead now. Like the clock's ticking on so much of that, which I guess is
the problem is that other people with better access have done that better. And you know, Caroline Munro has now told her stories about this so many times.
It's streaming on Shudder, so maybe we do pick up a Shudder thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is?
I think the one that we would.
Edvard Munch.
The
Vordalek.
Yeah.
I thought it was streaming somewhere else because it had been on TV recently. So anyway, either way, it's definitely one we're thinking about.
So, as doing a podcast, it will be one more thing to do.
It's so much work you spend more time tracking down guests and doing that stuff. We physically can't do any more. Something else would have to give. Yes. Unless there's more money coming in, we can't do any more than we're doing now, or at least I can't. I don't think Graham can either.
No. Well, if more money was coming in, then I could try.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If more money was coming in, then there's probably actually I don't know how much more I could reasonably do. Who's keeping Graham in whiskey?
Yeah. So that's that. Waxwork is now on YouTube. Funny you should mention that one. We've discussed that as being the special after this one. We're going to look at a whole bunch of Waxwork.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Waxwork is one that deserves something separate at some point, whether that would be a special or at least a streaming review. It's a very fine film.
Megaropolis has just had another $2 donation. It's
Uh-huh.
creeping up.
So that's $4, or are we still cheating it to 14?
I'm gonna go 14.
Okay.
It's never gonna get to 100. I'm confident.
Oh, he's tempting fate.
I'm confident. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong, chat.
Why, if this
see my face turn red.
If this gets to 100, I probably won't be that disappointed, even if I do have to watch Megalopolis.
Any more Amicus anthology reviews on the way?
We haven't got any planned, but there's something we can always do. I'm sure we'll do them all at some point. I think we've done 3 or 4 now, something like that.
Let's go back to the Q&A thing. See if anything
is the Q&A working.
For some people it is, so this seems to be the problem. Okay. Any plans to cover any Norman J. Warren films?
Have we not done some?
I don't know.
It's a name that really rings a bell, and I'm struggling now to remember why. But yeah.
Okay, well, I'll look into that.
Oh, good.
Ranking the 3 Indiana Jones films, because there are only 3.
Yep, quite correct.
What order do you go?
Raiders is the best. Then I think Holy Grail, and then Temple of Doom.
Yes. Sometimes I can flip Last Crusade and Raiders.
Really?
I think Last Crusade is probably a better film, but it's standing on the shoulder of a giant kind of thing.
I think Last Crusade is a more fun film, but I think Raiders is a better film.
Yeah.
Every time I watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, the structure, the making of the craft in that film is just extraordinary to me. And it seems to come so naturally to Spielberg. The story, I think it's fantastic. Anyway, but I love them all.
Yeah, I could
all 3 of them.
I saw Temple of Doom at the cinema, and that was really good. It was like, I found a whole new appreciation for it, and it was just like, it's not the best film, but he's still doing this stuff way better than everybody else.
There's so much that's good about it. The problem is coming in between those 2 brilliant films. It's just a structural thing, and I do think that the heroine is just kind of irritating. But it is just that it takes too long to get where it's going.
Yeah. It's got my favorite scene, the bridge.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
I love the mine car.
Yeah.
So I mean, it ends really well. There's a lot to be. Yeah, love it. What else we got?
Well, we got what knockoff Bond movies end up being good horror films? Bond exploitation.
Knockoff Bond movies end up being good horror films. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Do you have a favorite Tarantino movie?
I'm not a big Tarantino fan. I suppose maybe Jackie Brown.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big Tarantino fan. I don't know why. Like, I enjoy them.
I don't know if it's. I don't think that this would influence me, but he does come across as an arse.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Robin, if you could have lunch with either Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing, who would it be?
I think probably Peter Cushing.
Okay.
I think he'd pick up the bill.
I think he'd certainly order cheaper food.
I think that Peter Cushing, if he wasn't having a good time, you'd never know. Whereas if Christopher Lee found me boring, I think I'd be really aware of it.
You would know. Do you have a favorite Japanese directed horror film?
Oh gosh. I think a personal favorite would maybe be Kwaidan, but I think Onibaba's probably a better film.
Okay.
I think Onibaba is one of the most extraordinary films.
One of our very earliest specials.
Yeah. I look back now and think, well, we just told them the story. But, if it introduced a few new people to the films, then what the hell?
Is there any horror movie you wish got a sequel? Mine would be Captain Kronos.
Yeah. I think we all will go with that. Obviously, I'd be the one to write it. But...
What other horror film would be? It's more like I wish they had better sequels.
Yeah. Most horror films seem to get sequels, whether they need them or not. I can't think of anything that desperately needs a sequel. That's what makes Captain Kronos so rare, because you really do want a sequel to it.
Yes.
There are other things that could sort of stand a sequel and things that can have a good sequel, but very few you actually want. Oh, this would be better with a sequel.
We were talking about Sinners.
Yes.
And how that's been successful, but it seems pretty self-contained. But is it so successful that
a sequel will be
inevitable, or perhaps a prequel
based
around the vampire? Sorry, spoilers. If that wasn't known, the Indians that are chasing the vampire at the beginning of the film.
I mean, if it's going to happen, I'd prefer a prequel to a sequel.
Yeah.
But I hope it doesn't happen at all. I hope that he just does something else interesting. It's a fantastic film, and well done to Ryan Coogler, and I hope he goes on to make more fantastic films.
Yeah. Are you a David Cronenberg fan?
I like some of his films. I'm less keen on others. I think maybe saying I'm a fan of his work. I'm a fan of some of his films, but I don't think I could really claim to be a big fan of his.
Yeah. Oh, oddly enough, we answered this question. Did you guys see Sinners in the theater yet? Yes.
Yes.
We both did.
Really enjoyed it.
We both really enjoyed it.
Particularly the music.
Yeah. Just loved the music. But we had a lot of thoughts on it.
We did. We had a long discussion about it. There is that thing that sometimes the films that that grab you the most are the ones you sort of like. You can sort of like say, oh well, there was this, and I wasn't sure about that and that. But in the end, it doesn't really matter because you still loved it, and you sort of want to make it your own almost because you're so engaged
you were
by
that
it.
sort, invested in it.
It's really
so
good.
It's like, is it a perfect movie? No, but it was really entertaining, really well shot.
Yeah.
The music was incredible.
Great performances.
The main thing I think we both didn't like was the vampires.
Yeah. They felt like they interrupted a more interesting story in some ways.
And the sort of the last scene with the people haven't seen it.
So
we
felt the coda went on a little long.
Yes, which is not the credits bit, it's the bit before that, which the credits bit we really like.
Yes.
But there's something else. So, and then we're saying about how you've got the twins in it and how seamless that is now, where you're just not even ever thinking about that being camera tricks or whatever. It's just so seamlessly done.
And as I said earlier in reference to something else, I do try and avoid as much as possible everything. I don't read about films before going to see them. I just see if something's basically, I go to the cinema when I've got free time and I'll just go and see something. And I knew that there was good word on Sinners. I actually went in not knowing that that it was about twins and that they were both played by the same man. And it actually took me a little while to work it out.
Have you read the original story of Vordak?
The Vordak? Yeah, did we not? Now have I? Now I'm saying this. Did we not do a thing about it?
I don't think so.
Okay, maybe not. Why was the Vordak? No, I'm gonna cry off of that because I'm not sure that I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, we answered this one from Matthew. Any mainstream horrors recently you enjoyed, which was Sinners?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I did see Until Dawn, and that wasn't good. Check out Man from Rio if you like Indiana Jones. You ever seen that one?
No.
Okay, well, we will check it out. Just wanted to say the Hercules video is some of your best work.
Thank you.
That's always nice to sort of see where you put up like a review having done like, I don't know, maybe over 500 easily.
Yeah.
Maybe 750 odd reviews.
I do think they're still getting, I don't know if they're getting funnier, but I feel like they got better over time. I don't know if they've plateaued, but I think we're better at it. And I think well, I mean, in fairness, that one gives you an awful lot to go with.
Yeah.
And
that's it. And at the moment, we're working on tweaking the formulas a little bit.
Yeah.
Making the reviews a little bit longer, adding this new intro. We've got another idea for a running joke you'll start to see in the upcoming reviews. So I think there was a bit of the writing of it, where we'd got into like a routine, and perhaps it had got stale, and we'd sort of chatted about it. Go, oh, actually, these things might help us sort of refresh.
Yeah.
How we look
it's
at
hard to it's hard to say. The fact is, a lot of these films make the same errors.
Yeah.
And I fall into some of the same jokes, and some of those repetitions can become catchphrases, and that's good, and some of them just become, well, you're just saying the same thing every week, and that's bad.
Yeah.
So it's good to sort of like come at it from a different angle and try and find different ways of addressing the same issues.
Yeah. And we're trying to sort of experimenting a little bit with how we're titling them and bits like that.
Yeah.
So instead of calling them reviews, we're sort of tweaking that with a little clickbaity, but not over the top clickbaity is what we've been discussing.
Which is a long and pretentious way of saying thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the review. I thought it was a good one.
Yeah, but it's good because especially as we are like looking at how we're sort of continue to evolve and everything with the channel and the reviews. What that is. Operation 007 with Neil Connery. Any thoughts on that?
No, not really.
Did we look at that once?
We looked at it to do, and it's just
it's
too
a comedy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. How do we consider Time Bandits within the confines of horror? Isn't it more adventure?
I wouldn't. It's more of a fantasy.
Fantasy adventure.
Apparently, we have lots of different opinions on what genre it is. I haven't seen it for a very long time. I didn't like it when I watched it as a kid, and I tried watching the series with Lisa Kudrow that they've just done, which I also thought was kind of rubbish. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm trying to watch a series based on a film that I didn't like, so maybe it was inevitable that I didn't like it. Just didn't work for me.
Why not just write an original Kronos type character? Sam Raimi created Darkman when he couldn't get the right to the Shadow.
I mean, basically, because if someone offered me Captain Kronos, then presumably there'd be some sort of deal attached to it. I can write my Captain Kronos character, as you say, but no one's making it.
So Matthew asks, would you write a swashbuckler novel?
I don't know if I'd be good at that.
Yeah.
I like my novel. I like my books as they are. I'd like to have a go at the Captain Kronos as a film. I think that's a different thing for me.
Speaking of which, we're talking about is Hammer's been sort of releasing their sort of big box sets of different films. So the first one they did was Captain Kronos. Then they did Four-Sided Triangle, which had included excerpts of scripts that they'd written for rewrites.
Yes.
So then we got into this wondering whether or not are they like testing the waters with different different properties that they own as to what deserves a sequel. But then their next pick was Shatter.
Yeah, so that shattered that.
But then their next one is Quatermass.
Yeah. So we are going to do a review of Shatter, I think.
Yes.
When that Blu-ray comes out. But our reward for that is then we get to do Quatermass.
Yes. So and at some point we're going to do like a larger Quatermass video.
Yeah, I think we'll probably wait at least until Hammer has released other Quatermass ones, because then we'll have all the extras that we can sort of like learn more about it.
Is that what they're going to do? They're releasing one a month.
If they're not, they're nuts.
Yeah, but if they're releasing one film a month, it could be a while before they get to another Quatermass. That's so you could be waiting forever. So
I guess.
But it's on the list. And we're looking forward to this Quatermass one. It looks quite epic.
I'm sure it'll be a good release.
If Hammer wants to send it to us for free, that would be appreciated.
Well, they said they liked one of our reviews.
Cool.
Next time, I'm dropping a comment.
Well, no, wait till after Shatter.
Yeah, I guess we don't have we can appreciate the quality of a release without appreciating the film.
As far as I can see, you've never done a review of Phantom of the Paradise. No. That's one that I did look at.
You have sent it to me.
Yes, it was a Patreon request.
It's one of these things that it's because there's always an idea. We've always got sort of like a short list in our heads of specials that we do want to do, and we do want to do one about Phantom of the Opera, and of course that's sort of related. And it's whether or not we really want to do Phantom of Paradise before we've done that. So I don't know. The fact is, we've got such a list of specials to do. Maybe we will get to it sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Okay, what we got here? Have you ever walked out of a film?
Not I've walked out because I was ill, or feeling ill. I think that was a consequence of the film. It was perfume, and there was just something, I don't know. I think I must have been a little bit ropey to start with. I had been drinking beforehand, so I don't know. Something about the atmosphere of the film made me almost feel seasick in the cinema.
Yeah, I've not walked out. I definitely felt that I should have done a few times.
Megalopolis?
No, because I think that was just sort of batshit crazy enough to keep me in there. But Drive Away Dolls, I thought was terrible.
Right.
That was the last one that I remember. Just even like very early on in it, I went, "Nah, this isn't good."
I've left a theatre performance during the interval, in fairness, so that's a nice. And that was one that a friend of mine was in.
Wow.
Was in a production of Annie.
Wow.
It was being done by a local drama school.
Got to be?
It was. Now, was it Annie or was it Chorus Line? No, I think it was Annie. Yeah, it must have been, because I still no idea what happens in the second half of it. It was. I think it's one I went to see with my friend Johnny, and we both knew one of the guys who was in the show, and it was just no. I definitely went. No, you know what? I'm confusing myself, but yeah, I walked out of Annie.
Okay.
I think we were asked to leave Chorus Line. There was a dramatic scene, and we were pissing ourselves, and an usher came and told us to be quiet. It was awful.
I used to review a lot of fringe theatre in London and saw some god-awful stuff. One was Therese Requien, which is like possibly one of the worst. Yeah, it wasn't professional, but it wasn't full-on amateur either. Well, I know it could have been. And it was so bad and funny, and I was biting my lips so hard because I just did not want to laugh. And I could hear other people in the audience, and it was like, And then I wrote the review, and so like if you search my name, you might see it. But they literally just took one line out of the review where I complimented the lighting. They just everything else they ignored about the review, but then like that quote is like on some of their publicity stuff. Okay. Does Mario Bava rate a special?
I mean, he probably rates one. I don't think I know enough about Mario Bava to write it.
Do you have any opinions on The Wicker Tree?
No, I've never watched it, because I think it would just be disappointing knowing that the reputation that it's got. I don't think I'd enjoy it, and I think it would just be a shame. What
sequel is better than the original?
Sequel is better than the original. Son of the Sheikh from the 1920s. That is large. Son of the Sheikh is a fun film. The Sheikh with Rudolph Valentino is fucking awful. It really is a bad film. So, to be honest, the sequel didn't have to be all that brilliant, and it's by no means a masterpiece. But it's a bit of fun, which the original is not.
Okay.
Really awful.
Do you have a favourite Michael Caine movie?
Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, what a good pick. Are you going to do any more Sword and Sandal movies, or maybe that Sinbad movie with Lou Ferrigno?
Yes.
Yes,
we've got a Sword and Sandal movie coming out, which we shot today. It's not one of the best, but it'll do. And yeah, Sinbad is now available on Prime, so we're going to be doing that, and we will do the Hercules sequel at some point as well.
Yeah, there's still quite a few Sword and Sandal ones we've not done.
Yeah,
Or Sword and
I think we're
Sorcery.
out of the 80s glut. There's only a few left there.
Yeah,
But
we've still got 2 Deathstalker ones to go.
Oh right, is it time for our annual Deathstalker review already? Gosh, the time really flies.
So
It's Deathstalker season already. I think we might end up doing 3 and 4 in one, from what I hear.
are they basically remakes of each other?
No. It's more that neither of them really warrants as much attention.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't watched either of them, so might try that for the next batch.
Attack of the Crab Monsters, one of your funniest reviews.
Really?
But
I haven't seen it for a very long time.
There's a large pool of terrible Hercules films to pull from. That's true, like, because we've also not done the Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
No.
Hercules in New York.
Has there been? I mean, are they good Hercules films?
Any upcoming horror films you're looking forward to?
I have no idea what's coming out in cinemas. Not a clue.
I guess the big one is 28 Years Later.
Oh right, yeah. I'm looking forward to
that. The main one.
Okay.
Did you hear Lord of the Dance Guy made his own Bond film?
I mean, it's not Bond, but yeah. I feel like it's the name of a bird. Blackbird.
Blackbird. Yes.
Yeah, it got, I mean, absolutely ripped to shreds by everybody.
Yes, it's that trifecta of, I think he wrote it, directed, and stars in it, which is
proper vanity project.
Very rarely a good sign. The next comment is Blackbird.
Oh, okay.
So yes, it's tough because that's one that probably is good to review, but it's very recent.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch Quatermass, but not many available streaming in the US.
I mean, there's so much with the name Quatermass on it out there, and we're sort of like specifically talking about the Hammer films, which there's the 2 early ones with Brian Donlevy, which are right at what kicks off Hammer horror as we know it, really.
Yeah.
And then there's the later one with Andrew Keir, Quatermass and the Pit. But then there's stuff before that. There's radio and TV and later TV and later again TV, and there's a stage adaptation. There's all sorts of Quatermass out there.
And then there's supposed to be a film. There was supposed to be a film recently as well.
There was supposed to be, yeah. We were looking forward to that.
Yeah,
we were hanging on for that to do our Quatermass special.
Yeah, I mean that's one that we would say like it worthy of a remake or a continuation, soft reboot, whatever you want to call it.
Well, Quatermass reinvents generationally anyway, so I don't see any problem with doing that.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite of the Quatermass?
Of those I've seen, and I haven't seen everything, Quatermass and the Pit.
Okay, that's the later one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Andrew Keir is better in the role than Brian Donlevy, for one thing. And there's something, the sort of the existential nature of that film. It doesn't work for everyone, but I do like it.
Mm-hmm. How does X the Unknown sort of fit? I know it's not Quatermass, but it's kind of trading off.
Yeah, what happened was that they knew they were going to do Quatermass 2, but they wanted to do something in the meantime. And they're sort of not quite the T-boy, but someone on a low rung said, well, you've had sort of like aliens coming from above. How about something that comes up from the ground as a sort of like alternative? And they said, that's a great idea. Go and write it. And that was how Jimmy Sangster started writing.
Oh, okay.
So he was working at the studio in some production role, and he pitched that idea, and they said, okay, you're a writer now. Which Peter Cushing would have disagreed with, but
Crimmy at CCC box set is coming. Ever checked out Crimmy?
No, that
no idea.
Doesn't even ring a bell.
No. Have you seen the 2018 British horror film Possum?
No.
Okay, sorry.
Caning it through these questions just by not knowing what people are talking about.
Someone walked out Black Swan. I've been kicked out of films. I like Drive Away Dolls, somebody said. I walked out of the first Scream. Well, we just mentioned, just did our whole chat on Quatermass. That's good. What? Question mark? I don't know what that refers to.
Clearly should have gone in the quick Q&A section, which no one's using.
Lots of talk. Troll 2. Yeah, no, I've given you Troll.
You've given me.
I've given you Troll 1.
Have you given me?
I might have given you both.
I think you've given me both.
Okay. Yeah, you need to.
Anything that requires me to watch more than one film is immediately gets kicked back a little bit.
Yeah, but do one and then do the other.
I thought there was only one that was going to be a bad movie review.
Oh no, they're both bad.
They're both bad.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But Troll 2 is the sort of notoriously really bad one. But we should.
Okay.
Oh no, it's because there's Troll 2 coming on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was. That's what we were related.
Oh, are we waiting on it coming on Netflix
but
and then we'll do both of them back to back? Well, we don't need to check.
I'm curious as to Troll 2. I'm getting these.
Yeah, the entertainment of watching Graham Google Troll 2 so we can find out when it comes on Netflix. This is something we can do at a later date.
There's no date, but it was announced in January. Okay, so
that must have been quite the announcement. We've acquired Troll 2.
It's not. No, it's a different Troll 2.
Oh, it's the sequel to
Troll.
Troll. Oh, okay.
But not Troll.
But not Troll. I want to say Norwegian. Yes. That's probably wrong.
I think Scandinavian.
Scandinavian.
There we go.
I couldn't get into Troll. I liked Troll Hunter far more.
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't reviewed that.
I am. Maybe it's not streaming. We should do that. I like that film.
Is there a movie that has a sequel, but it was completely necessary?
Completely necessary sequel. I can't think of a. What would you define as a necessary sequel?
You obviously need to have Return of the Jedi after Empire, and you need Back to the Future 3 after Back to the Future.
That's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of second sequels that are necessary because you see how the first one goes, and then you do a two-part to.
Yeah.
I just watched, and this shows where my ability to keep up with current movies is. I just watched the second of the Spider-Verse films.
Yes,
I watched all of that without knowing that there's going to be another one.
Right.
Just that sudden awareness of this probably isn't going to tie up.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one's better, but as ever.
Yeah. So
I don't think we really answered that, but I can't think off the top of my head of a necessary first sequel, as it were. I suppose, but I mean, in terms of completing a story, then
then you like Lord of the Rings,
Pennywise. What's that? It. Yeah.
Oh, but no, the second one was so much worse.
Yes, but the thing is, you need a second one to complete the story, don't you?
No,
do you not?
No,
okay,
because they kind of get rid of him, and then they go, "Oh, he might be back in the future."
Okay,
but so yeah, you didn't need to see the second one to be fully fulfilled by the first one.
Okay.
Who's your favorite genre actor from the 70s and 80s?
An actor from the 70s and 80s. I'm just going to say Peter Cushing.
Cool. Jason the Argonauts is a good Hercules film.
Yes, I suppose. I mean, yeah, it's a good film and it's got Hercules. I guess I wouldn't say it was a Hercules film per se, but yeah, absolutely.
Hercules at the Center of the Earth with Christopher Lee.
We mentioned it in the Christopher Lee Death special.
Say
it didn't look great, but I will take your word for it.
Oops.
And we've lost our place.
We've lost our place.
This is why you should use the Q&A. Damn it, YouTube.
No science advisor. I'll come back some other time. He's in the comments somewhere.
Yeah.
So he usually says goodbye. The science advisor is watching. See,
there you go. He's reading all your comments before we even get to them.
What is Halloween like in the UK?
Quieter.
Yeah.
It's more of a kids' holiday in the UK. I think that we just sort of like
even that.
If you stick a pumpkin outside your door, I don't know. Yes. I think this is countrywide. This is the recognised sign. I welcome trick-or-treaters, and then kids come round, and I enjoy it very much because and this ceases. It might not be the case this year because kids change so fast, but My niece was never really that into being taken out for Halloween. What she likes is going to her grandparents because there's a lot of kids around there, and she likes giving out candy to children.
Right.
She likes taking responsibility of other children. And that's a very entertaining night because as soon as she sees someone coming up the garden path, she rushes to the door.
Yeah.
And it's very amusing to watch.
But it's like, even when you just say you put a pumpkin outside and that means you accept trick-or-treaters, that is still like minimal Halloween decorating.
Compared to America,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, we always let's do a pumpkin carving. I'm never going to find it. But my girlfriend did a really good gizmo in a pumpkin. So yeah, so we do. We carve pumpkins, but we don't want kids coming around, so we don't put them outside. So yeah, it's way more subdued. It's not a big holiday thing, which is a shame.
You reckon?
I'd kind of like Halloween to be a bigger thing here.
Why?
I don't know.
Just seems like another way of gouging money out of people. Sorry, just looking for questions.
Yeah.
And where we left off. Trying to be fair to everybody.
Yes. Gladiator never needed a sequel.
Yeah, nobody's arguing with that. They should have done the Nick Cave's time travel one.
Okay, let's jump back to the Q&A, see who's been obeying the rules. Questions. Okay. Any Russian films you would recommend?
Yeah. Now, what the hell was it called? VIY.
Oh, yeah, we've reviewed
Yeah.
Yeah. Can do any more sorts of. We did that one. Have you watched Color Out of Space? We've reviewed it.
Yes.
Yes, you can check that one. Any more Jim Wynorski reviews coming?
You know what? I don't know if I should bother anymore. People always disagree.
Yeah, I'm sure we will, but he kind of falls into that camp where there's a knowingness to what he's doing.
Yeah. Plus, sense of humor is a very personal thing,
Yeah.
and I think that he's just one of the least funny directors.
Yes, but he is trying to be funny, which makes the review harder.
Yeah.
Right, sincerity in a film makes it funnier.
Yes.
Megaropolis, for example. Just wanted to ask, have you seen Eternat?
Eternat? No.
Yeah. I think it's the best sci-fi and now series from my country.
What country
what
is
is that country? Some other Hercules, Giant of Metropolis. We've reviewed
Sons of Hercules. We've reviewed one of the Sons of Hercules films.
Yes. Apologize in advance. Like to be off topic. Have you ever had a desire to be in a sci-fi horror or horror film?
To be in?
Yes.
Not really, no.
And yet you are.
Am I?
In a horror
film.
I
am in a horror film, yeah.
It's on Netflix.
Having been in one, I have even less desire to be in another. It was excruciating.
Argentina.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, it looks interesting. So maybe. Favorite William Castle film?
House on Haunted Hill.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on the upcoming Frankenstein movie from Del Toro and The Bride with Maggie Gyllenhaal?
I hope they're both good. I think most people are probably expecting more out of the Del Toro one. He's such a fan of the classics.
Yes, I feel from the still image that I've seen from Maggie's one, it's very different.
Yeah, which it would have to be honest.
Yeah.
I will watch both with interest.
Yes.
I really hope that Del Toro does.
Hope for the best.
I mean, in the end, Del Toro is telling Pretorius seems to be the main character,
Mm-hmm.
so I guess it's a sort of a direct sequel to The Bride, and that would be interesting. I hope that it's.
I wonder if there's.
I hope that it's a good film and that it's a modern film, but also without taking anything away from the classic ones.
We're not too many years away now from a lot of these films starting to fall out of copyright.
No.
So do you think there's an element of Del Toro which is like, I've got to get my Pretorius movie out now because I can afford to pay royalties on it, as opposed to in I think um
When was it made?
yeah,
Right,
right.
1935. So that's still a few years
so
away.
it's got about 6 years, I think, something like that, before it falls out of copyright, and then we're going to get the Pretorius slasher film. Because that's the only thing people know what to do with.
I had a good Pretorius
character-
prequel idea.
When a character falls out of copyright. But it's quite exciting that we're now in an era of stuff falling out of copyright. For like
It
for the
is,
first
but look
time
what's
in-
happening.
for the first time in years. But we don't know what. Yes, like there's going to be a bunch of shitty slasher movies.
Yeah.
But what other interesting stuff is going to come from there is really good.
No, we'll hope for good stuff as well.
And those Chiantes at Disney, who basically built their company of copyright-free stories, should be share the love. I don't know, whatever that is. I keep having an argument with my friend about films. I want the Dark Corner's opinion. Can you consider your favorite film the best film? No, definitely
No,
not.
they're two different things.
Yeah. I'd really struggle to name my favorite film because it will change on my mood and as I've grown up and tastes have changed. So there's a lot of films that I love, but if I had to pinpoint one, no idea.
Okay, fair enough.
And you?
No, I suppose similarly, I there's a few that I would come back to, and City of Lost Children is one that I really adore. That there was just something about that, and it's not one I watch a lot because I don't think I'll ever replicate how I felt seeing it the first time. On the other hand, I've probably watched Star Wars more than any other film, and the first Star Wars film will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah,
and yeah, the stuff, it's personal connections to films, whatever that will be. You can't translate that into best.
There's also some films that I sort of saw that I don't think many other people saw, and they just sort of like, oh, I know this film and I like it, and nobody else has ever really watched it, and so it's why kind of thing. One of those films would be Purple Butterfly, which is a film. I can't remember where it's from. Asia somewhere, but that's one that I doubt hardly anybody has seen that film, but it's one that I like. Have you reviewed At the Earth's Core? We have. The reason you may not be able to find it is because it's actually called At the Earth's Core with no R in the title.
At the Earth's Core.
At the Earth's Core, it says on the thumbnail, and I've never corrected it. So
it's on the to-do list.
It's on the to-do list. It's not a priority. Have you ever let the science advisor pick a movie for us to review?
No. He's never asked to. Okay. If he ever did, I'm sure we would consider it.
We have never covered Project X from 1968, but would we?
I don't see why not. Trying to think if that's one of those ones that I watched and turned down. I can't remember a problem with it. So many films.
You're coming about like Jack Pearson's makeup designs also coming out of copyright to be quite exciting. But it seems like
it doesn't feel like they've enforced that copyright particularly hard, though, does it?
Yeah, that's sort of the struggle there. That they were sort of saying how what your niece knows of Frankenstein is based purely on a film that she's never seen.
Yeah. Everybody knows what Frankenstein looks like. And initially they did enforce that copyright, which we talked about. That's why Hammer couldn't use it initially, and then they got the rights. But theoretically, nobody should be using that look of Frankenstein. But everybody does. Everybody knows that's what Frankenstein looks like. And there comes a point where you can just say, you know what? This is probably promoting us, so why enforce it?
Yeah. But it's interesting, even like Bela Lugosi's Dracula is for a long... certainly in like animation and stuff, you want Dracula, it's the widow's peak. It's
yeah,
the black suit, the red sort of medallion, and the cape and everything. That's incredible that it stuck. The Wolfman, the look of the Wolfman is still pretty generally Chinese Wolfman. I think sometimes they might just give him pointy ears.
Yeah, or there's the sort of the more wolfish ones, the ones that are legitimately more lupine than they are human.
Yes.
I think there's a difference almost between like a wolf man and a werewolf.
Yeah,
which is the differentiation I make in my second book, The Werewolf of Priory Grange.
And then even the Invisible Man. Like if you're going to do an Invisible Man, it's going to be a guy wrapped in bandages wearing glasses.
Yeah,
sunglasses.
Yeah, I don't know if that's I don't know if the bandage thing would be from H.G. Wells. I wouldn't be surprised if that was.
But so yeah, what's your favourite Hitchcock movie?
Is it boring to say? Probably Vertigo.
Oh, I mean, it is one of the.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great movie. Maybe that's, I don't know. Vertigo. I mean, there's like a little cache that you go back to. Rear Window's just such fun and so good. Such a well-made film. And North by Northwest does that sort of thing better than any other. That type of movie is something people try to do a lot, and no one does it as well as North by Northwest.
Yeah. Devil's Triangle with Doug McClure, possibly.
Yeah, we've looked at that. I think that's one that we did look at and decide against, or I did.
Just watch these, so good. Why is it so difficult to make a faithful adaptation of Lovecraft?
It's just something about the atmosphere that I think people struggle to capture, and it feels like. I mean, I'm not a big Lovecraft reader, so I don't think I'm the best person to ask. But it feels always like there is something that the films are trying to express that they are unable to do so. That there's something that is in the prose that they are completely unable to put on film.
Does the world need more Santo?
I don't know. Would you want to see Santo played by somebody else?
I think he's been played by a couple of different people.
Has he?
Now he has, yeah.
I
I think after the original actor got.
I mean, he did so many.
Yeah, but they're all basically the same. Well, a good.
No, they're not. Some of them have time travel. You definitely can't say they all share certain things.
Yeah, that's what we say. It's basically like they've got like 8 different plot points, and then they just draw them out, 4 out at random, and that's the movie.
Yeah, but then they put them in just the wackier situations, and those few plot points remain.
I'm waiting for a new standalone King Kong movie, like a sequel to the book. But that's it, King Kong.
What sequel to the book?
But King Kong, what year is that?
33.
So that's coming up pretty quickly as well. Don't know if that helps.
I don't know if it helps. I mean, in the end, there's one King Kong film. All the others are just rubbish.
Yeah, Son of Kong.
Even that's not a good film.
No, that's the good one. It was my joke. Any chance of a review of Ed Wood?
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, it was streaming somewhere. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Great film. Great film. Love that film.
One of the last great Tim Burton films.
Was it? Was that towards the end of his run? I'm not sure when that was. I suppose it would be.
It was that whole sort of Sleepy Hollow.
I love Sleepy Hollow.
And
it's Planet of the Apes, and he just stopped making good films.
Yeah, Planet of the Apes.
That was the bad one.
And then came back for Big Fish is okay, and
Big Fish is okay.
Sweeney Todd is great.
That's pre.
Is that pre?
I'm sure that's pre. I'm not sure that's pre, but I think it's pre Planet of the Apes.
All right.
Sweeney Todd, I really like. I know that not everybody does, and I liked the anime. He's done some fun animations as well. The what's it called?
Frankenweenie.
Yeah, I quite liked that.
So it's definitely up for the thing. I've read the book that the script's based on, which is called Nightmare in Ecstasy, or Ecstasy, and it's the person who wrote the book just interviewed loads of people around Ed Wood's life in order to write the book, but they were just so contradictory about each other. It's like there's just no way of writing this in a traditional biography. So it just basically has chunks of the interviews with all of these people and sort of going through Ed Wood's life, but you'll just get this information of them just contradicting each other, having different memories and stuff like that.
That's probably the most honest portrait of a person you can do.
Yeah,
in that
and it's a really good book. I very much recommend it. I think I bought it about 3 times because I've lent it to people and then they've never returned it.
It does remind me, going back to the fact we've got a special coming up in the next couple of months, probably, about the Warner Brothers early horror films, the Dr. X and Mystery of the Wax Museum. And they've got very good commentaries from Curtis's biographer and another expert. But what's interesting, they both say, Curtis has a very distinctive style. And what they describe is the antithesis of each other. They both have completely opposite descriptions of what is this man's style. Right. You just think, well, how is that possible?
Yes, we did totally fuck up by keep calling Frankenstein and not Frankenstein's monster.
Did we?
Chats. Well, just the way we were talking.
No, I don't think we did.
Well, I definitely did.
Okay.
What's that Hollywood spoof of Hammer horror films? Nice to see higher production values, but it didn't really spoof anything.
What's that?
I don't know.
Hollywood spoof of Hammer production films. I can't think of one.
Don't know. Kronos 1993 review ?
Yeah, we could do actually.
How about a special on made-for-TV horror movies like Night Stalker and Salem's Lot?
I think that's just too broad a subject to say we'll do a special about that. I mean, how many 100 films would you have to pare down?
Queen Kong?
Never.
No, yeah, we looked at it and it's
awful
and not in a good way, and it's a comedy, which
just barely,
which doesn't work for us. So Kong, Skull Island, just lots of people talk about Kong. Oh my god, so many questions.
So sorry, we're trying to keep on top of it. But we've fallen way behind.
Yeah, keep all the questions in the question tab. That's easier to track. But if I'm looking for questions in the chatter, it's a little bit more difficult.
Okay, we'll let it go for tonight. Next time, all in the questions.
Just the science advisor has gone to bed. It's past his bedtime. House of Long Shadows, says somebody, which I think refers to the Hammer spoof.
Really? Okay.
I'm assuming that's why they wrote it. Okay, I'm going back into the questions. Okie dokies. Wait, I answered that one. What's the best kaiju movie series?
Godzilla. The original Godzilla is the best kaiju film.
Cool. Why does Indiana Jones work while movies that try to copy it fail?
Well, partly because they're trying to copy it. I think an original idea is always going to have more strength. Different copies fail for different reasons. Usually it's that when you are copying something, you don't necessarily understand why the original worked. It's like we've observed this what I call the Han Solo effect, that after Star Wars came out, then roguish heroes like that sort of became de rigueur, and they've misunderstood Han Solo completely. What makes that character work? I think the same is probably true of Indiana Jones. They don't get that when the people who are making the copies don't understand what was good about the original. That it's not their own character, so they're not understanding it.
Then obviously Indiana Jones is a pastiche to these earlier films as well.
I think inspired by is different to copied.
Right.
I think.
That's true.
I also think that the ones that do copies, they always so many of those films that came out straight after Indiana Jones are quite pervy.
Yes.
And Indiana Jones and they think, well, that's the natural extension, that he's kind of a roguish character, so he'd probably have lots of women, and we discover him in bed with someone and stuff. And the Spielberg films don't have any sense of that, really.
No.
That's not his passion. His passion is archaeology.
Yes.
And I think they think that they're making him cooler.
Yeah.
And in fact, they're just making him.
Well, I think it's funny, like
irritating.
The Indiana Jones character in those films, they say he's got his passion for archaeology, which sort of drives him, but then he's human as well, which makes a difference. And he goes on a journey and he changes as a result of it. And as you say, like, Raiders of the Lost Ark isn't really about the Ark. It's about the journey that he goes on and reconnecting with Marion. And in Temple of Doom, it's about saving the kids and not just going after fortune and glory, which is what he initially does. Which is why that's somehow the weaker one. And then Last Crusade, it's reconnecting with his father, which is again very personal, and why I think that one works. So you've got that element of it, but then you've also got somebody like Steven Spielberg and the budget of a big film, where they can do action sequences that also tell a story.
Yes.
As opposed to, we've just done a review of Hundra that we shot today. And there's well shot action sequences, but it's just pointless.
Yeah.
It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't develop character. It doesn't forward the story. It's just like, oh, we've talked enough. Now we're going to have like a big fight, and it's just going to end. And
then we'll talk some more, and then we'll have another big fight. They're there because they're there.
Where so much of the sort of those big action set pieces in Indiana Jones, it develops character, it pushes the story forward, it raises the stakes. So I think that's what people miss when they're making.
There's a lot of reasons, really.
Yeah. So yes. Are there any good Dune adaptations?
I should say I didn't like the book, so I'm probably the wrong person to judge. I preferred the Denis Villeneuve film. I still haven't seen the second part of that. Really should. To David Lynch's one, but I think in the end. My basic problem with Dune is I don't like Paul, and at that point, I'm just, if you don't like the lead character, you're kind of just out of it.
What's your favorite comedy horror that isn't American Werewolf in London?
Comedy horror. There's a few. Comedy horror covers such a broad, because there's stuff. Something like, I was going to say, Young Frankenstein,
right,
which is a comedy film set in a horror world. I don't think it's even a horror.
Yeah,
it's just set in a horror world. I also like Evil Dead, which is perhaps a true comedy horror.
Yes, Evil Dead's a good one.
I'll go with that. Cat and the Canary is another good one.
Gremlins is another one.
Yes, yeah.
And Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah. I guess The Invisible Man is to some extent.
Yeah. So there's a few.
Yeah.
Didn't even have to mention American Werewolf in London, which is also a favourite.
It's a very good film.
We have reviewed Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone.
We have.
You have to go back a bit for that one, but we have done it. I'm going back to the live chats. I think we'll be wrapping up soon because it's time for Robin to go to bed.
Well, we have to remember, when I come here, then I get up very early to catch my coach.
Get up very early. Okay.
I've given up what I did initially when I started taking a coach, was to just not go to bed the night before. Do
you have a favorite?
That was quite hard.
Do you have a favorite David Fincher film?
David Fincher film?
Yeah.
I suppose Seven.
I think I enjoy Fight Club.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I didn't think of that. No. Yeah, maybe.
Zodiac is good as well.
I've been watching his. He's done
Return
a
of the Living-
drama on Netflix.
Return of the Living Dead, another good horror comedy.
Yeah,
Not reviewed that.
I think it's David Fincher did a drama on Netflix about the sort of like the history of or the creation of profiling serial killers with the FBI, and that's quite good as well.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember what it's called now. Mindhunter.
Yes,
I'm quite enjoying that.
Well, don't get too hooked in.
I know
they
they've
haven't
cancelled it
renewed
now. I'll enjoy what there is.
Well, that goes back a bit. We're learning someone has a Gremlins fetish. He did Mankiewicz too, which you didn't, which we've reviewed and you hated.
Oh, that was awful.
Telling you what you think. But yeah, I think we've covered all the questions today. So I go check in the questions tab. Is there anything extra?
Should we do till past, or do you want to?
Sometimes I say that, and then
they all flood in.
There's no questions, and it's like, well, guess we're here for like 5 minutes. Oddly, this was the first question we answered has now appeared.
What, have we come full circle?
We've come full circle. Classic Universal.
I didn't know how that's
movies.
how it worked.
Yeah, Chaos. Was the first question we asked. That just seems to be repeating the questions.
Weird.
Do you enjoy Tucker and Dale versus Evil? Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a new question.
Yes.
But those first two are repeated from the top. God knows how this Q&A thing works. There you go. All right. Let's call it. Good night.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much. It's a
pleasure chatting to you all.
We'll be back sort of mid-June is when we're
live streaming next.
Shooting our,
please keep an eye out for upcoming specials and videos and stuff. Please like and share. It really does make a difference.
Yes, do that.
Consider joining us on Patreon. Buy my books, t-shirts, all that jazz.
Jazz hands. And good night.
Good night.
Almost. Yes. There's always 2 buttons to press.